Hi, Rusty. I'm so glad you joined us today. I'm really looking forward to hosting the 2020 annual planning event with you at the headquarters at Advantage Forbes Books. And as people are really starting to dive into their annual planning, I think what's on the mind of every CEO or CMO is, how do we really stand out? How do we do this differently? Like, we're living in such a competitive landscape. Every brand looks the same. Every brand seems the same. It feels like it's never been easier to be ignored. So how can we really approach this differently? What would you, say to CEOs and CMOs out there as they're starting to think about their 2020 planning?
Yeah, well, Caroline, I think you're exactly right. For a lot of CMOs and a lot of CEOs right now, the plans are being made for 2020, and for many people, it's kind of business as usual. In other words, let's put all of the resources behind, the corporate brand. And the frank reality about where we are today is there are two big reasons why that is absolutely the wrong way to go. Number one, your audience increasingly is taking an arm's length approach to dealing with your company. And the reason why is because there is less and less trust in corporate brands, institutions, etc. Second reason is the amount of money and resources and impressions that it takes to build affinity with a generic corporate brand is significantly higher than it is for leading with what we call your authority brand or thought leadership. And so I think for a lot of CEOs and CMOs that we're enjoying working with right now, the difference, the best way to punch above your weight class in 2020 is not focusing only on the corporate brand. It's actually using individual authority brands within the business as on-ramps back to the business.
Wow, that's great. And so tell me even what you mean by building authority, because as you know, when we sit down with a lot of CEOs and we're talking to them about authority marketing, which I love, by the way, particularly with like number 2, number 3, number 4 in the market who can't just outspend the big guy, right, in the space. I think it's a particularly great strategy. Often the thing, we always hear is, well, I'm not the front person. It's not, I'm not ego driven. It's all about my team. Can you talk a little bit about building authority for a CEO as a marketing strategy that's not the fact that it's really not rooted in ego at all?
Well, actually, my favorite thing to hear from a CEO is this is absolutely not about my ego, and I have zero interest in stroking that. And by the way, the people that approach personal branding or authority marketing leading with ego doesn't work anyway. So the way we think about it is it's really more about leading with value. In other words, it's taking the value that right now many CEOs and leaders within companies are delivering behind the scenes, whether that's direct with customers or direct with team members, and it's really moving it upstream and putting it out at a bit more scale. So what I often will talk with CEOs about, not only thinking about a book, but podcast, content marketing, PR, speaking, etc. The best way to approach that is really from a mission-driven perspective. In other words, it's about providing value, educating an audience, entertaining and informing them. And what we always talk with some of our authors about is the successful mindset today is not thinking like a marketer, which is still the way most people are deploying dollars. It's really thinking like a media outlet. And when you think like a media outlet, your goal is to do the exact same thing the Wall Street Journal is trying to do, the exact same thing that Forbes is trying to do, which is entertain and inform an audience. And over time, when you do that as a leader, what happens is you convert attention to affinity, and you become not only somebody that people are looking to learn from, but somebody that people want to do business with.
Awesome. I think you're spot on, Rusty, and I'm excited to lead the annual planning event with you and really help educate CEOs and CMOs and really approaching 2020 marketing differently. So I hope to see you guys in Charleston, and we'll be back with some more information pretty soon.